Hello, everyone. Welcome to podcast number 4. Hope you're all doing well today. Getting to listen to that absolute banger from Under Night in Birth, EXC, late CLR, etc., etc. Icefield White Knight, still a banger. Still got to listen to it more, I think. Hope you're all doing well. Nice to see you all in chat. I think it's all right to do some hellos here. Simna, FT, Meganium. I'll see you soon, FT. Sergio, Kadzik. I think we saw Maite in there as well. Metak, Inisk. Hope you're all doing well. Thanks for joining us at this time. And let's introduce our podcast crew. Hello, team. FT, Luco, WhiteMonster. Thanks for joining me today. Welcome to the podcast. Can you hear me? I am muted. Imagine I just introduced you all very well. I'm still muted. What's going on? Disconnected, reconnecting. Hello. Oh, wow. Discord acting very strange there.
There we go. I got
Yeah. Hey, we doing? How we doing? I just gave you all a great introduction.
I believe it.
You can go back and check on the stream. How are we doing?
We're doing very well. It's
Not bad.
11 p.m. now for us, Sydney and ACT. So.
And it's like right in between like heat wave.
Yeah, it's hot
kind
today.
of waves.
Yeah, we're feeling it here too, for sure. It's 35 today and yesterday as well.
Like for us, it's like cool. It's been cooler today, and then for the rest of the week, it's gonna kick back up.
Yeah, it's 32 degrees right now, 8 o'clock. That's pretty bad.
That's a bit of a problem.
Yeah,
it's 15 here.
That's not too bad.
Let me check.
WhiteMonster. 0.
2.
In
2 degrees.
2. I would much rather 32 degrees at 8 p.m. at night than 2 degrees at any time of the day. I don't know. That's
I can't agree. I'm a cold weather person.
Fair enough. All right. So obviously, this is the first time that we've had 3 players, I guess, join us in podcast today. So as per usual, would you guys like to give us a little bit of I don't know, what was it? Any little bit of information about yourself, and how you found the chase, I guess, is usually the interesting one. As little or as much information as you like to give. I'm just going to plug myself in the meantime. Go for it.
I'll kick us off.
Sure.
So I'm Luco. I've been playing the chase now for how many years? 3, 4, maybe a bit longer. I got into the chase. I was introduced by the Phantom, actually, who himself was introduced by a member of the team, a member of the Sydney scene called Baker, who's long gone
Baker
now.
AU, yeah, I remember the name.
And then we also introduced a whole bunch of people, and so the line seems to continue. I come from the Sydney Smash scene, where I did pretty well for myself. I managed to get 4th in Australia in both Wii U and Ultimate, the beginning of Ultimate.
NES, yeah?
NES, yeah. I was mostly Lucas in Smash 4, though.
Okay.
Yeah, much to somebody here's sadness that I eventually swapped off Lucas in Ultimate. And yeah, that's me. Nowadays I do game dev.
I saw a bit of that in creative.
Yeah, we did a little game jam recently that turned out very well, and I also did a student project that lasted the entire year, actually. So if you haven't seen it yet, go check out Volta or Your Party Blows I'm Going Home.
There's more to that title, but that was the censored title. Yeah. Yeah. All good. It's all in the creative channel in the Chase Discord, I think. Anyway, that's where I saw it. Yeah. Awesome. FT WhiteMonster.
I can go after that one. Hello, I'm frozentreasure. You can call me FT if you like. I won't object. I also joined through Sydney Smash It was Glace who messaged me mostly out of the blue, I think, one evening and said, "Hey, this seems like something you would like." And I said, "Yes, that is in fact something I would like, but I do not have any time to watch a 3-hour show on either Thursday at 11 p.m. or like Sunday in the middle of the day. And to be quite frank, I probably still shouldn't be spending that much time at those time slots.
Yep.
But I've adjusted my schedule to make it fit." And that was like back in 2021, I think. It was like when the chase was in the early hundreds. I tuned in for one episode. There was a reverse round that was Crash 1, and I vaguely recognized that it was Crash. Could not have hoped to get the track. And then I did not watch another episode until like 340 or so.
Wow.
And I didn't mute the Discord, so I kept getting the pings every time. But then I was at Luco's place one weekend, and they just put the chase on the TV on the weekend shows, and I went, "Oh, this is kind of fun. Maybe I should do this." So it was 343 was my first kind of proper episode, and a Lama Lana track played on that episode, which I take as a sign. That was the sign that I clearly needed to keep going.
I wonder if that's an experience that's happened with a lot of people, actually, where they...
Yeah, like your first episode is just
Yeah.
like there's a track made for you.
Yeah. Awesome. So, yeah, now here you are.
Aside from that, like it was, before then, I played also played Smash, not too terribly. I much preferred doubles, and I've always been sad that doubles just died, fell off a cliff in Australia, and mostly everywhere, but especially Australia. And before that, I did Let's Plays, also I think decently well. One day I'll get back to those. If I think Metak watched some of them, and I think that's the only person in the Chase server who has looked up some of the stuff that I've done. But I'm pretty proud of them. You can see the games that I talk a lot about in the Chase server. You can probably find me doing a Let's Play of them, including Croc and Fez. And I was going to do Lama Lana, but that was going to be a much, much more involved project. So that's something that I just kind of idly think about constantly. But I put way too much thought into it without actually doing it. One day.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, FT?
Yes.
Did you ever get into speedrunning any of those games, or speedrunning like Super Metroid, or is that just a wild, I've picked that out of some memory?
No, I definitely speedrun I guess Super Metroid. There was a period in sort of early mid 2020 when everyone was in lockdown, where Australia's Smash Ultimate scene had a like month long or couple months long like leaderboard for Mario 64 16 star. So I learned to run that, and I got like I think under 30-minute time, and that was fun. But I did that, Super Metroid, and Mischief Makers. I think my best time in Mischief Makers was a little over an hour, and I do have a couple of like record times on a couple of Mischief Makers ILs as well. So yes, I do like to do those. Some of the other games that I like, I would look at speedruns for, but like they always involve like glitches that kind of defeat a lot of the enjoyment of playing the game for me, to the point that I just kind of didn't really get too invested in them.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, FT. WhiteMonster, tell us a little bit about a member of the Polish crew. Go from there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm WhiteMonster. You can call me Monster. First, I didn't play Smash.
Ooh.
How dare you? Get out.
Yeah,
No.
come to-
Oh no. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm a speedrunner. I am in the Polish speedrunners community since like 3 years now or 4. I don't remember. I found Chase VGM by Kazik because
Yep.
a year ago. Yeah, like a year ago he was like playing Chase on voice chat once.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were Kazik was playing. We were just listening for like first, I don't know, 5-10 episodes, and then we started playing. We were playing too. So that's how the Team Poland was created. Just because of Kajic.
Was listening to VGM and any of that even like something that you were interested in before that, or was it something that you kind of warmed into
Yeah.
because of the chase?
Yeah, I was just speedrunning games, so I knew VGM from games that I speedrun.
Mm-hmm.
I mostly speedrun Mega Man, so
Okay. Yes. Yes.
that,
Yeah.
that's why I was participating in Mega Man Masters.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but
and tell us about the so is Persona, any of the Persona games, how speed runnable are they, and have you attempted that?
oh my god, the Persona speedruns are so freaking long.
Yeah, I can
I
imagine, right?
the only game that I speedrun from Persona series was Persona 4, and it took me like 13 hours.
Mm.
Mm.
I don't know how
Uh,
they do those super long speed runs.
just wake up at 8 a.m., just 9 a.m. you're starting a run, you're finishing at, I don't know, 11 p.m. or something.
Yeah. Well, I
Just
mean,
spending.
that's if you're doing well, right?
Well, it wasn't that it didn't went well because I'm like second last on the leaderboards right now, I
Okay.
guess.
Well, you're on there. That's
Yes, I'm on
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Wait, I just want to check right now. Persona 4. The world record for this category that I played was like 7 hours or something.
Okay.
Wait, Persona 4 Golden. Hard golden ending, no major glitches, because the golden ending in Persona 4 is the only one, the only good one.
Yeah.
Oh, now I'm eighth. I'm on 8th place out
That's
of 10
amazing.
players.
Let's
Okay.
go top 10. Top 10 easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, top 10.
I think like a couple of months ago, I checked how far I'd fallen in the Bookworm Adventures speedrun list. I was like, yeah, I probably won't get back to that. Everyone's optimized it too much at this point. The sad part is that they've optimized all the, like, I don't know, they've somehow sucked the fun out of the game, some of the parts of the game. Like there's, sorry to deviate on your time, WhiteMonster, but there's a part in the second version of the game where they're like endurance matches where like for example, one of the bosses is the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland, and it keeps summoning different monsters from its like smoke cloud, and you have to beat them all back to back. And they just found a glitch where you just kill the first monster and then keep going out of the game and going back into it, and it just automatically beats every monster after that. And it's like, well, that's not fun. Like that's, I know that's a skip, but it's just, I don't know. Some
Gosh.
skips are lame, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't that exact same boss in Bookworm Adventures 2 when you were playing like a few months back?
Yeah, that was what I was saying. Yeah, it's into, yeah.
Oh, it's
And
into, okay.
even the final boss is like that too. So you don't even beat the final boss properly. You just kill its first form, which is by far the easiest form, and then you just glitch the rest of the boss, and that's the game over. It's
Is
kind
that
of,
one of those? Is that one of those runs where like executing the final bit is quite easy, and so you can kind of
silly easy. Yeah. The
Yeah.
rest of the game is like much harder by comparison.
Yeah.
Um,
I assume so, Satsum, that there will be a category where it's like no boss skips or something like that.
so I think that the player base is too small to divide the categories, I think.
Ah,
Lost Kingdom speedrun is actually pretty legit. I think that's actually quite a. I mean, that one skips half the game as well, but I think that's actually like there are a lot more people who play that. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? All right, shall we get on to listening to some music? Hey, I believe that's what.
Oh, yeah, yes, we
it's
could do
about. Who would like to go first?
That's why we're here.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
listen to some music.
How about we go in order? FT, would you like to go first?
alrighty. Look, I really thought that as funny as it would be to make everyone listen to, I don't know, Ace Combat 7 Long Day or something, I thought I would go with something a bit out of left field for what people usually think of, like, as kind of FT core. It's on my top 100, but it's not one that I've talked a lot about. It's a Placid Island of Ignorance from Risk of Rain 2, specifically the Survivors of the Void DLC. Let's see. Before we go in, I don't have a lot to kind of mention here. One, it's this is not a game that I play a whole lot. I don't like go out of my way to play Risk of Rain, any of them, too much, and I'm not really that good at them. So I've never encountered this track personally in game. It plays in the Void Locus, I believe. Luca can back me up on this. It's like a kind of sub branch from the Void Fields, which was in the base game, and it's sort of this like you go down that path and you're on this you're on a singular track to finish to like go to a boss later on. The things to keep in mind here is that Risk of Rain 2's like bass tracks, Chris Christodoulou had like 3 years working on the original OST for Risk of Rain 2. He had way less time. I don't know exactly how long. I think it was like somewhat a matter of months for Survivors of the Void. So the tracks that you get here, they're still good, but they definitely have like a lot more kind of obvious melodies and motifs from previous tracks that it's kind of pulling from. And so it's a lot more earwormy. You'll hear kind of, especially like some elements from like Risk of Rain 1 and Risk of Rain 2's main themes. I would encourage people to try and keep an ear out for the time signature, see if you can lock in on that as we go in. And I guess the last thing is that the track title, all the titles for the Survivors of the Void DLC get their names from like eldritch horrors kind of and fiction. So you've got quotes from like Stephen King and H.P. Lovecraft and stuff. So that's what this title is, where the full quote is from Call of Cthulhu, where it says, "The most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. We live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far."
Very interesting. All right, shall we have a listen? Let's
please.
go. We'll just wait for the others to return.
Oh my god.
It's good.
Wow.
Damn.
liked it.
Quetz, you're still muted.
Yes,
Okay.
usual.
I'm just muted. I'm just muted in the chat, not on stream. It's all good. I'm not completely muted. Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
So, if anyone caught it, it's in. It might sound like it's 5:10. Chris himself has described it as being a very fast 5/8 or a quintuplet time beat. And he said that there's a lot of deliberate tomfoolery, especially in the rhythm, to disorient the ear, but the time is always 5/8 throughout.
Especially
what,
near the
what
end.
do I say?
It starts to have a lead-in note at the end as well that changes the feeling of it. I don't know if you...
Yeah, and that's part of like the thing that grips me about this so much is that I guess to back up a bit, this is the second track on the DLC, the Survivors of the Void album. The first and the last tracks are Chopin arrangements, so this is like the first original piece on the album, and I firmly believe that Chris is very kind of follows kind of the classic producer logic about the being very attentive to things like track order on an album release, things like that.
Yeah.
So this is kind of the introduction to the tone of what the DLC music is going to be. From my money, I don't think that any base Risk of Rain 2 or Risk of Rain 1 track has ever conveyed like a real sense of like hostility towards the player. All of the tracks will have, low energy to high energy because that's how the game goes. It escalates as you spend longer on the planet, and it's always using this kind of synth that sort of is very sort of theremin-esque, where that kind of classic sci-fi alien planet sound, but it's always it's presenting the world as this like exotic new landscape that you're exploring. And yes, it's challenging and there's combat to go on, but it feels like it's somewhere that you're somewhat welcome. This track, and then throughout the rest of the DLC, feels like, rather than being just a new environment, the whole planet is a living organism that has identified the player as a foreign element and is doing everything it can to just expunge it. It does not want you here, and it's trying to be as off-putting as possible. So we've got 5/8. It's not a very common time signature to start with, so that's already got you off balance. Every time you start to kind of lock in on the time signature, it introduces lead-in note, syncopation, polyrhythm, and it bounces the sound around from left to right constantly. It keeps you guessing where it's going to kind of go next. It's got, in that last section especially, it's got the melody. It's descending through the scale, but it also keeps jumping up octaves and jumping up and changing keys. So it's kind of conflicting with itself. It's all of these things are coming together where it just feels wrong to be there, and it's in a way that I don't think the soundtrack has ever really done before. And not every track in the DLC is exactly like that, but this is the one that kind of always sticks with me. And it, like, listening to this as just a kind of a body of music, like putting the album on to go for a drive or something, it just blows me away every time. And that's how I actually really got to listening to this. Was I just threw it on to when I was going out running errands one day, and I thought, fuck me, this is actually out of this world, unironically.
One of those ones where, like, it gets to a certain point and your attention is pulled.
Yeah.
Like, what am I listening to? Like, you check the title, like, what is this track? That kind of moment.
Yeah.
I just want to jump off that then as well, because I believe from memory, the Survivors of the Void DLC was the first DLC that Risk of Rain ever did. And so I keep thinking about that that feeling that you mentioned, that hostility of being in a new place, and I think about my experience with RPGs and roguelikes games where you're introduced to the familiar a lot. And in Risk of Rain and many other roguelikes, you have a kind of a pleasure to like learning about your world and learning the rules of the world. And then they drop this DLC, and suddenly it's a really fun, terrifying aspect. It happens again in RPGs when you cease grinding, maybe go to the next part of the story. You're entering into an unknown space with theoretically unknown rules, and that the Void Cradle, the places where this plays, are these really dark, foreign places, even to you as somebody who's learned to survive on the planet of like where Risk of Rain 2 takes place. It just feels so different and unknown. It's very and like the song conveys that sense of like you shouldn't have come here, and a lot of players report when they play this DLC that being prepared for the main boss of the main game does not put you anywhere near close to being ready for the final confrontation you need to take this RPG. And I love that kind of synergetic experience between what the music is saying and what the gameplay is saying. So
yeah, it's a similar. I got a similar feeling with going into Tears of the Kingdom. Like you have this world that you've ideally spent like dozens, if up to hundreds of hours exploring every nook and cranny of, and then you go in there and every path that you're familiar with is blocked off or it's different, and there's a bunch of holes in the ground, and you try to go back to the Great Plateau, and it's this like absurdly high level area that will like one shot you if you go there too early, like that sort of thing where this is nothing that I'm used to, and you have to relearn the rules of engagement.
How quickly in because Luco, you're familiar with the track in context, right?
yeah.
What tells first, the visuals or the music, if you know what I mean? Like, are you like, oh, okay, this is what's going on? Because sometimes in some games it's the music that tells first, because nothing seems out of the ordinary immediately, and then you start to realize.
It's I'd say it's the visuals, but very quickly the song lets itself be known.
Okay.
It's a very dark, like compared to the rest of the game. It's this, like, you see how this box art is this like mix of like dark blues and purples and blacks. It's very much the case of the level that you get dropped into in that
Okay.
DLC, and so you dropped in and immediately you're like, oh, this is very different. I don't know what I'm doing here, and then this starts quite quietly to start off with, and then builds up.
I always like they've got this soft kind of notes that play throughout. It's almost like padded, like so gentle on your ear, like you can hear it padding around your ears
Yeah,
as it's playing.
In that like second kind of breakdown,
Yeah.
where it brings in kind of the Risk of Rain 2 main motif, yeah.
And then you've got that. It starts to get kind of 8-bitty. What it would be?
Yeah, to me, that's like the sound of so in the deals from the DLC on, there's these like little kind of void bugs that will spawn in when you interact with certain objects, and they kind of just skitter around. You need to kill them as quickly as possible, and that synth is like the sound of like the earth spitting out a dozen of those void bugs all over the place.
Yeah. And that's particular sound intensifies at the end as well, which was cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everything intensifies at the end, but yeah. I noticed that.
Yeah, they're also meant to be prisoners. The prison is the idea of the Void Cradle, I believe, an interplanetary prison. So the idea that it's spitting its potential prisoners at you as a source of, it's awesome.
You know, I sometimes in games, I was watching. It was when I was boosting Quake the other day, and I shout outs to Vorpal and Quake, and I was watching gameplay, and because I swear I played Quake, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch the gameplay if I remember it. I'm still pretty sure I played it, and it's kind of the similar. it's that kind of gameplay idea where there's something things from another dimension are pouring into Earth's dimension and blah 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 blah, right?
Yeah.
I'm always a bit skeptical about this kind of idea, because it's like, how can a civilization exist purely off these, horrible evil creatures and stuff like that? Like, how could you? What kind of society do you have? How do you?
Yeah.
It's just too hard to believe. But the prison idea is a great way around that, like, kind of conundrum, because it's like, no, this is deliberately all the bad stuff. Like, they've been put there. I think that was the plot line of The Thing, from the horror movie, was it's like it was imprisoned and sent to, like, imprisoned in the ship and sent out into space and crashed into Earth.
I think that they kind of get I think that happens a bit in what's the name in Twilight Princess as well. Like your main encounter with the Twilight Realm is, oh, this is it. All the Twilight things are just a bunch of horrifying monsters, and it's not until like it's like second to last hour of the game that you go to the actual Twilight Realm and you realize, oh no, there's people here. Those were just monsters.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on this one?
Let's see. Did I hit all my notes? Think I did.
Anyone else have anything to say before we move along?
I'm happy.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I'm surprised. Have you put this as your in boost suggestions yet?
I probably have. I think as soon as we got that first Void track playing. If not, I'll probably throw it in again.
I mean,
it was definitely on my top 100 though.
To be fair, anything that appears in the podcast kind of gets expressed into boosting anyway. So,
all right, you're all welcome.
Yeah, it was great. I enjoyed that track.
Oh man, that means Luco's track is good. I can't wait for that to boost in.
Track number 1 billion from that game. All right. Well, thanks very much, FT, for that track. It was a pleasure to listen to. Shall we move along? Luco, would you like to go next?
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
Just let this up.
So, I just a fair warning to the chat. My track is going to contain a lot of. I have picked another 3 song. To nobody's surprise. Unlike FT, I came right out of right field, I guess. This is my favorite track. This is my number 1. But I'm going to be talking about spoilers in relation to this song. A lot of Mother 3's music is quite deeply entrenched around what sets it up and around the synergy with the gameplay and narrative experience. So I will do my best to keep that quite short. I've condensed it into as short a form as I can, but with your permission, I will try to set up the scene a little bit just before we get to it. But to give you some context and to summarize, to give you some game context first, Mother 3 is actually based on the Notebook trilogy. It's written by Agota Christoph, not to be confused with the Notebook by Agatha Christie. It's a war story and a post-war of 2 brothers, Lucas and Klaus. Their lives diverge during an era of rapid modernization and change for their little village. And then they have vastly different experiences and then come back together later in life. So there's a lot of examinations of trauma, of change, of modernization, of like materialism, and it's quite it diverges a little bit, but that's something that Mother 3 also takes quite seriously from. To bring it back to Mother 3, Klaus, your twin brother, is gravely injured after setting off to avenge his mother, who's tragically killed trying to protect him. He's brainwashed, he's unrecognizably altered by the Pigmask army, and we only see his alter persona as the Masked Man very fleetingly. Flint, who is Lucas and Klaus's dad, he becomes very untethered by his wife and his son, and he spends the next 3 years absent from Lucas, the protagonist, to spend every day in the mountains searching for his lost son. And we never control him as the player character after Chapter 1 of the game. So there's a quote from the Notebook, what this is based on, that conveys the kind of life we might assume what's left of Klaus must have had without his family. So I'll quickly read that. The quote reads, "I go to bed, and before falling asleep, I talk to Lucas in my head the way I have for many years. What I tell him is just about what I usually do. I tell him that if he's dead, he's lucky, and I'd very much like to be in his place. I tell him that he got the better deal, that it is I who is pulling the greater weight. I tell him that life is totally useless, that it's nonsense, an aberration, infinite suffering, the invention of a non-god whose evil surpasses understanding." So that's what Klaus has to say to Lucas in the Notebook. We don't get to see very much of Klaus in game with Lucas, but we can maybe assume that he's having some kind of a similar journey. And so this game is a tragedy, and the tragedy is never particularly framed to surprise the player. All of the tragedies are given a lot of great foreshadowing. The game trusts the player to connect the dots, and in the final battle, both a very deeply exhausted but elated Flint, the father, and the spirit of Hinawa, the mother, appear to help attempt to wrest their son back from the main antagonist's control. In my experience, I've seen a lot of people play this game. Mostly the player is the one to say something like, "I can see the tragedy coming, but I'm desperately hoping against all odds that some miracle occurs." So I bring this up. The music at all times is an integral part of the construction of that tragedy. According to Itoi in interviews, Shogo Sakai, he knew the most about Mother 3's narrative and contributed heavily to its vision and scenario writing. So that explains why a lot of the game's pivotal cutscenes are dramatically embedded in the gameplay sequence. So there's a couple other examples of that. The song's Confusion, Phantasmagoric, Mother, with like the exclamation. Those are very based around the cutscenes that they're in, and that's because Sakai would go up to the writers and say, "I think that this scene needs to look like this, this, and this." Fundamentally, this game begins with the violent shattering apart of a small family, and it ends by piecing them back together. This fight and this song, It's Over, encompasses all of the emotions evolved with trauma and with change. Mother 3 is the final game in its series, obviously. It's a defined endpoint from which unshaped new beginnings may spring. There's a couple small notes I wanted to write. There is a song just a little bit earlier than this. We won't listen to it, but it's called I Am Porky. The very start of It's Over uses the same instrumentation as I Am Porky, which is meant to represent a connection between the masked man and the character that's supposed to be controlling him. There's the song takes place in 3 phases, and so does the final battle. It takes place in 3 phases. So the song starts with this very discordant, kind of hoarse sounding instrument. It hides these tender chords underneath it. You can be on the lookout for there's a sus 4 chord. It's like a suspension 4 chord. So when the main melody is about to resolve, instead of playing CEG, it plays CFG and then shifts that down to CEG. It does that a bunch of times during the song. But basically it's the difference between making a resolve to a progression, something that sounds very final and neatly tied up, to turning it to being very bittersweet. So yes, like I said, the battle has 3 main phases. The opening song, Battle Against the Masked Man, is very frenetic, it's very discordant, it's very disjointed. The background in that phase of the fight is taken from a key fight in Earthbound, which is versus the Mani Mani statue, and that in that game, that fight represents all of Ness's fears. The combat sequence becomes heavily distorted as the fight drags on, and eventually clarifies itself again in the last phase of the fight. Lucas's attempts to reach Klaus are aided by his father and the spirit of his mother until we eventually reach a flashback cutscene. That plays the most complete version of the love theme, Name These Children. which I'll get you to play in a minute.
Yep.
And in it, Hinawa and Flint, your mother and father, are discussing the names they want to give to their newborn twins. And they speak candidly about their hopes for the kids. They say, I bet they'll argue with each other a lot, but I see them helping each other out when they need it to. And once that little scene ends, we fade quickly out to white and back into this last phase of the battle, which plays this song, It's Over. Like the rest of... Oh, was that me?
No, you're fine.
Okay, we're good. Like the rest of the battle, 3 distinct phases of instrumentation. Those shifts in the song happen around about 40 seconds in, and again, it's close to the 2-minute mark. If you want, you can pay very special attention to a very clear, reverby electric piano note that hits at about 156, that second changeover, because I'll talk about that once we've listened to the song. And that's it. That was the scenes thing I wanted to do.
All right, very well said. Shall we take a listen?
Yeah.
Here we go. It's over.
Here we go. We're back.
We are
So
so back.
I
Man,
actually realized I forgot to get you to play Name These Children. Just the start of it, just to give you an idea of that change.
it just hits you like a train.
Yeah. Just imagine for a second that you've just heard this song that we've just heard now, and then all of a sudden your parents have told you, they're gonna grow up, they're gonna support each other when they need it, and it's almost a hard cut to Lucas standing alone. The rest of the party isn't on the battle UI by this point in time. The background turns almost grayscale to represent that clarity. The fight's reaching its conclusion, and you have those instruments right at the start of "It's Over" that sound like they're shrieking, and it's like they've got these instruments that sound like they're shrieking, but oh, sorry. All right, we're muted.
Oh no! I just had a Windows sound interrupt you on stream.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The instruments all around those like shrieky noises at the beginning of "It's Over," they sound hoarse. It's like you've been screaming so much that your voice is just given out. And then you move to that repentant church organ in the second act. And then around 156, that second change, when you start to hear that reverb on the electric piano. I've seen a lot of playthroughs of this fight, and there's a specific line that Hinawa, the spirit of your mother, of Hinawa, pops in just one last time. And she's been urging Klaus to come to his senses, and at this point in the fight, she just comes in one more time and says, "Klaus, come to your mother." And it's right as that really crystal clear electric piano note hits, almost exactly every time. And in that minute, the entire mood of the fight turns. Like the background goes crystal black and white. The masked man takes his helmet off. He reveals that he's Klaus. Everybody knows. And then every note from that point on in the song just bleeds with reverb. It's like the notes fade into one another and create this really comforting, but really sad blanket. And so, the conflict is very quickly over. After that, Klaus makes the move that will certainly kill himself, and he dies. And he, just before he does, he apologizes to Lucas and says that he'll go to where Mum is now.
There you go. I don't need to play the game anymore. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, what have you done, Luco? What have you done?
No,
It's good tragedy.
It's good. I like the story. I was just like, how it's you had me the entire time. I was gripped by the story. Yeah, very interesting.
Thank you.
Maybe.
The
Maybe I will try Mother Free.
Yeah.
I should try it.
All right, good. All right, you've done good, Luco. You've had a net result of 0. Luquetz will no longer play it. WhiteMonster will in fact play it.
No, I think I've always wanted to like. I did play a little bit of Earthbound, but only just the beginning. And I struggled at the time to get past the way the battling worked. I was too FF brained to like
Mm.
I need to see my characters kind of thing. Like it wouldn't matter to me now, but yeah. I mean, I was also
Final Fantasy would have been a very active time battle by that point, wouldn't it?
Oh, I was, this was after I had played FF8 and FF9, so
Oh, it was okay.
yeah,
So yes,
yeah. So I not being able to see the characters felt very strange to me. I even didn't like playing FF7 because I didn't like the look of the characters, and it was very hard for me to get over that. But yeah, I think if I was to do this, I'd probably, I don't know. Is it even should one? Do you even need to play the previous
No.
games? Okay, so
You don't need
I
to
think
play
you can get a bit more out of it, but I didn't, and I was still like completely floored by Mother 3.
Yeah. Basically the last chapter of Mother 3 creates a big subversion if you've played Earthbound.
Yeah.
Overall, there's a lot of comments on like nostalgia and holding your toys too close for too long and all sorts of really cool things that kind of work if you have the attachment to Earthbound, but if you don't, it's still an incredibly told tragedy, and it doesn't really matter if you know what happens. Seeing it happen is the beauty.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it sounds like you know what's coming, but in a way, but you're hoping that it turns out a certain way. Like you're foreseeing a
Yeah. There's
tragedy. Yeah.
it's watching the train wreck in slow motion and being like, okay, surely I can do something. The thing that gets me about It's Over is that there's like, so you can see there in the like logo treatment for Mother 3, the like one of the core themes, like running themes of the game is this collision of nature and technology or industrialization as
Okay,
it
now
sort of
that
takes
yeah,
over
I see it
this.
now.
So it's meant to like look kind of weird and unsettling in the logo there. The more overt theme that you kind of get a sense of in game is specifically capitalism and its influence over kind of sort of like early stage kind of communal society, but it's and what happens in the early game is you've got Mum's Hometown, which plays a sort of like upbeat version of the love theme. Then after you do start controlling Lucas in earnest, it's got I forget the name of the track, but the town theme has the same sort of opening, but it kicks into a slightly different melody. So it's sort of it's left Hinawa's theme behind as she's now dead. Her theme, the love theme, it's now just a completely different. It feels like a different environment that they're in, and that's post the industrialization of the town. So this like It's Over kind of does a similar thing where there's on top of it being like that screaming hoarse iteration of the love theme of that motif. It's like the fog around Klaus's brain being lifted, one, but it's also this kind of allowing nature to heal itself and return to the natural state of what the island was always supposed to be, which is why it ends with just the love theme on kind of being in full force without any kind of grand accompaniments or different instruments kind of talking over the top of it, because that's sort of that's the theme of the islands in the end was the love theme, and that's what was lost and then regained. So that's the reason that it gets me in particular, since it's thematically that's the part where the whole game comes together in that moment.
I was going to ask as well about like, I'm not sure what you would call it, but like this kind of static crackle that plays throughout the track.
I think part of it's hard to. I think it's a bit of it's difficult to differentiate between just the GBA static and the deliberate
right.
sound that it's got there, because there's definitely like GBA crunch going on.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's all it is. But I kind of like, yeah, it's hard to then discuss, because in some ways where I was going with that was if it was deliberate, it feels so like I think it's fine. I enjoy the sound, but it seems so risky in a sense where you could potentially distract the listener too much that it becomes unlistenable. But I think it was fine.
I think given like how involved Sakai was with the development side of things from doing the music, I think he kind of knew that he could play into that sound.
Yeah. I've always thought that kind of crackle reminds me of it being played through a speaker.
Yeah.
It sounds almost like an obituary for the world. And so yeah, whenever I imagine, I like to attach images to and visuals to songs, because who doesn't? I like to imagine this coming out of a speaker in a post-apocalyptic kind of world.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. All right. Would you like to add any more to, or anyone would like to add any more to It's Over?
It's over. Go home.
Now what?
It's over.
Now WhiteMonster, FT, and Luco have given us a lot of content I'm not expecting. You could just say, I really like this track and it's great, and here it is. But if you've got something prepared, we are more than happy to hear it in full detail. So thank you, Luco, for your track, WhiteMonster. Would you like to go next?
Gosh.
Yep.
I guess I'm the only one, so only one left.
Yep.
Yeah, in advance, I apologize for some pauses or just bad English. I'm still learning. Okay, so I will not surprise anyone that I chose my most beloved series. It's Toho.
Yo.
No, it's not Toho. It's Persona 5. It's Pro Your Mask. Before we start, there is a huge spoiler warning for royal content, especially. So if you didn't play Persona 5, what are you doing? Go buy Persona 5 or something. Okay. The main villain of Persona 5 Royal is Takuto Maruki, the teacher of Shujin Academy. Because of the tragedy that he experienced with his wife. No, it wasn't his wife. Okay, his girlfriend or something. I don't quite remember. She lost her memory and she didn't remember Maruki. And then he awakens his persona powers or just powers. I don't remember. And from then he can change the reality. So he just decide that he will just change reality and make everyone happy.
Okay.
And going to the story of Persona 5 after the New Year. You're waking up 1st January. Wow, okay, Morgana is not a cat, he's a human. Okay. Anne's friend Shiho is not injured. Okay, she's not in hospital. What? Futaba's mother is alive? What's happening? Akechi's not alive? Damn it! What's happening? And we found out through the story that Maruki is behind everything of this. And we need to just defeat him. Just usual Persona story. And yeah, he wants to end all of humanity's pain by granting eternal happiness or something. Yeah, and Throw Your Mask plays during the second phase of the final battle with Maruki. Yeah, the first phase is Keep Your Faith, which is just instrumental version of Throw Your Mask. So, yeah, I guess we can play it right now.
Yeah, sure, no worries. Let's jump in. This is Throw Away Your Mask from Persona 5 Royal.
sleep through dreams that can't come true. No more tears shall drop from your cheeks anymore. You won't need to strive for greatness. Believe in me that you don't need to suffer from anything. Don't let go of your dreams. No more tears shall drop from your cheeks anymore. You won't need to strive for greatness. Believe in me that you don't need to suffer from anything no
And we're back. Remembering to unmute myself on all sides.
So beautiful.
It's very good.
That's pretty good.
That was gorgeous, WhiteMonster.
Yeah. Oh.
Tell us what you like about
Okay.
it, WhiteMonster.
Okay, I hope everyone focused on lyrics of these tracks because this is the main topic of my TED talk. Yeah. So we're just gonna just explain some lyrics because I love the meanings of the lyrics. The meaning of lyrics just fits almost perfectly for the context of the entire fight. Just I will probably not just break down all lyrics because I'm a bit lazy. But we will try. Okay, first verse. Believes that I have my faith in it. Never seem to see the light of the day. Shadow is where my mind stays in. Because people tend to be sensitive to the newest, but it doesn't to have be like this. Just Baruch is affirming the will of rebellion against unjust reality. Just he kind of lost his girlfriend. He thinks it's just unfair. Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
So I can, yeah. Don't sleep through dreams that can come true. Just Baruch is saying just not to turn away from the wishes that he's fulfilling from the. I mean, wait, I'm just giving you everything that makes you happy. Why are you not accepting it?
Mm.
Just, and I kind of agree with him. That by
I,
the way, Baruch is the only villain from the entire history of video games that I can agree with. Just he tried to do some good things for people.
I've seen this kind of idea. I'm not sure if I can think of a video game that's done this, but feel like I've seen sci-fi that has kind of done spin-offs of this idea. I think it's literally referenced in the first Matrix. Sorry, in the Matrix second movie,
Matrix.
where
Yeah,
the architect says the original Matrix was one where everyone was meant to be happy, but it was rejected or something like that.
Yeah, like the human mind would not accept that a perfect world.
Yeah.
A bit. Yeah, just Maruki tried to do good things in a bad way. Just
Yeah. Oh, so
Try.
without, I don't know. You can spoil if you want. You've already given the spoiler warning. Is it all
Yeah.
kind of like monkey paw versions of what you want, where it's like this is what you want, but it's actually kind of bad at the same time, or is it they're actually just getting what they want, but do they have memory of what they had before?
They had before. Yes, after a short time, they have their memories of the events are returning. Well, because the main protagonist just tells them, "Hey, do you think this is exactly what do you want or something?" And just the Phantom Thieves just realize, "Hey, for example, Futaba, hey, my mother was dead." That's
Yeah.
Just bouncing off of that as well, this line that you've just been talking about of like, or I think maybe it's just coming up. You won't need to strive for greatness. That it's interesting that we talk about this from Maruki's perspective, because Persona 5 has a lot of those themes of control and freedom in general. And there's another song in the game that a lot of people here will be familiar with, Beneath the Mask, where in it, one interpretation is that Joker laments, the main character is lamenting the fact that he's a silent protagonist, and that he has no personality behind the mask. And then you've got this awesome final combat sequence where this is as much for you, like, you can throw your mask away, don't pretend anymore.
Don't pretend anymore. Just
So it's like, it feels like a callback as well, and it feels like it's also playing for you, and that yes, Maruki might be doing these things for the right reasons, but this is also about your characters who are breaking free from like a lot of societal expectations. And I think about that line, you won't need to strive for greatness, because I think in our lives in general, a lot of what we grapple with is like, this idea that we should strive for greatness, that that's something that we should be aspiring to, and it seems like this is a comment on that. Maybe you have more to say on that.
I don't think so. I'm just reading my notes.
I was going to say, have many of you seen Doctor Who?
I mean, up to our point.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah. There was one of my favorite episodes was actually a what do they call? It's not one of the main series. It was like one of the bonus episodes. It was called Waters of Mars, and
Oh yeah, one of the holiday specials.
yeah, holiday specials. Yeah, that's it. You've seen that one, Luke, FT?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of the best Doctor Who episodes in my opinion, and
It's so good. I assume you're talking about like the ending.
Yeah, the ending, and I think the Doctor in the ending goes completely overboard, like goes complete like God mode.
Like
And
his whole thing, like post Time War, is him being like, I'm the last Time Lord, and I need to be careful with like my kind of understanding of history and influencing events. He finally decides, actually, if I'm the last Time Lord, I get to make the rules, and I've decided that I'm just going to indirectly interfere with history so that certain people survive who I've deemed important.
yeah, and the greatest part was how thoroughly the main assistant, I guess, of that episode rejects what the Doctor has done. She completely hates how she's undermined, how he has undermined everything about what was meant to happen, and he's so taken aback by, like, he's kind of doing the whole, but isn't this what I've done amazing? Isn't this what you wanted? Isn't this great? Kind of like what we're talking about in this situation, and then she basically kind of does the whole, no, because you've basically taken it away from me, you've taken it like away from everyone who was involved, you've kind of cheated the whole thing, and yeah, like just undermined the whole point of doing anything good.
I think the line of "you won't need to strive for greatness" in here, like the way I read that is that he's taking that from his own experience of if you are striving for anything, greatness or whatever, then that carries an inherent risk of failure, and the risk of failure is not worth, like, it isn't worth the potential of success. So we might as well just shortcut everyone to the end goal. And the reason that people are fighting against that is because I think people know that there's kind of the fundamental human element of trying and failing, and good or bad, you've done your best, and it was your choice and your actions that informed the outcome.
Well, it looks like the next group of lyrics basically elaborates on that whole like his mindset.
Yeah.
Monster.
Okay, I will just continue reading my notes.
Yeah, go for it. Sorry to derail.
It's fine. That's why we're here to talk.
Yep.
Yeah, just where did I finish? Okay, no more tears will drop from your cheeks anymore. You won't need to strive for greatness. Believe in me that you don't need to suffer from anything. Just Maruki wanted to say, there is a pain in life, but I will make sure you don't feel it. I make sure you get whatever you want. No suffering. Just give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just, just- I can make the perfect reality. Just accept it. Just surrender.
Was
Mariki's the doctor, isn't he?
sorry.
Mariki's the doctor. isn't he?
Well, I mean, I've got another question. Was it what he thought, what everyone wanted, or was it what he gave everyone what they
That
wanted?
was my question as well.
Wait. I played the Persona 5 like 2 years ago. I kind of forgot, but he
Okay.
just wanted to make everyone happy
Okay.
because he experiences his tragedy with his girlfriend or wife. I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, my question was literal. I was asking if he's the doctor in the game. Like,
Yes,
no.
he's a doctor in the game. He was
What are you
hired like after first yeah, I guess he was.
Hmm.
After he awakens persona powers, he just decided to be a doctor in Shujin Academy. Okay, I just remembered.
Okay.
Okay, just to analyze the students. There was few castings that the Phantom Thieves were talking with Maruki just about their experiences, like for example, Anne with Shiho Shiho just jumped off the roof or something. Yeah, yeah, that was, and he was analyzing it and just creates the reality. For example, for Anne, Shiho just wasn't injured. She didn't jump from the roof.
That's good
So
to
yeah,
hear. I
Good.
mean, yeah. Was Maruki in the was in Persona 5 not royal? Like just the
No,
okay,
he
it's just a new
he
character.
wasn't in original.
Okay.
He was added in royal content
Okay, cool.
with Kasumi. Okay, what do we have next? You don't need to make a wrong choice. Just requires guidance from above. Yeah, the same as previous. You live without pain or regret. You just have to do what I tell you. The same as previous words. Just
Yeah.
just
I
skip
think
it.
the way read, I think then that means that he is kind of just interpreting. I reckon you probably want this as your perfect reality without really consulting anyone. So and he's putting himself in that position of being like, well, look, I'm probably the right person to decide everything for everyone.
Yeah. Okay. We don't need to have this conflict. Kozaki take you to the place of delight. Give peace of mind to the whole world. Ah. Again, Maruki says, he wants to make the world a better place, right? I'm not just helping you. I can help freaking everyone. I have the powers to help everyone on this planet. I can make everyone happy.
You know, when you think about it,
Yeah,
you would think that okay, so this person wants to use their powers for something really good. Obviously, they're trying to defeat him as a result because be careful what you wish for. Blah 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 blah. At what point can you then use your powers? Like if it's always going to have this issue of well, you can't disrupt the natural order, or you can't give people what you want. What can you do with the power? Like if you had this power, it seems like a cursed power.
Like-
It's like one you can't actually use properly because you're always interfering and you're always
if I had these powers like Maruki, right? Oh gosh, I'm not quite sure what I would do.
Yeah, it feels
I
like
have
cursed,
no
cursed
clue.
power.
I just think the world without suffering, without pain, is just pointless. We just need to have some pain or suffering. This is the meaning. This is the meaning of life or something. Yeah, yeah. Just oh my god. Okay, first pause. Nice.
So don't. Are we
Yeah.
continuing through the lyrics?
Yeah, I guess we continue. Oh, that's the last one.
Yeah, I
okay.
think it's repeats from here. I'm having a look through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were saying about this some time ago. You can throw your mask away. No more
chorus
pretending.
bit, yeah.
You've been tied down for the longest of the time. Be free. You deserve better. You should forever breathe. Naruki says to the Phantom Thieves, "You don't have to be heroes of the shadow. You don't need to pretend that you don't want this reality. Just throw your mask. You're." This is the double meaning. the mask in metaverse and the mask, you know, you can just live happy, fulfilled lives because I will make it so society doesn't need you to fix it. Yeah, just
Have you ever had an experience of this happening to you in real life where someone has undermined
no,
your effort?
I never bet. I've never bet Maruki.
No, I mean like, I think I know some people, for example, where you know how a lot of people there's this I see it some I've seen this music video. I'd say what's his name? God, I'm so bad with pop music and that Drake, I think it is.
Right. Oh.
Right, and
Right.
it's one where he just goes around buying people cars, and I'm going to donate like millions of dollars to this, or here's $1 million, like basically Oprah Winfreying everyone, right? And eventually you're going to have someone who's like, well, I don't want it because I didn't earn it. I'm trying to build myself up to do this my way, and like this has cheapened the whole process of that. Like, has that ever happened? Like, has someone ever done your work for you without you asking, or stuff like that? If anyone can think of
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that, yeah.
Yeah,
It's.
I've got experiences with that.
Mm. Like even to on
I,
a
I,
small
think I
scale,
can.
like-
I think I can leave it at that and not go into a whole.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's happened. I think.
Yeah.
But I guess I can, as a quick aside, I lived in the middle of Australia for a couple of years with my mum in a First Australians community in Western Australia, and definitely some of the administration policies that the government introduced in the communities at that time had some quite dramatic effects on the people that they didn't intend because they didn't understand the people that they were working with. They just fundamentally didn't understand people, and so these good intentions came across in all the worst ways. Yeah, that was my experience with it.
I noticed a similar kind of thing when our family's first trip to Burma. We'd never really traveled before, and my dad hadn't been back to Burma since he came to Australia for like his entire life practically. And when we went there, it was just money was just being thrown around because your money goes so far in these countries, right?
Yeah.
And so I think my dad got a little bit overzealous with giving and spending, and we went back there a few years after, and a lot of what was meant to be done to help just kind of crippled some of them in some ways. Kind of similar to what you're talking about, Luco. Like you think you're doing the right thing, but you actually create problems unexpectedly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't just airdrop in the solution. It doesn't quite work. And then usually, like that, I mean, we even went, but even if we had, like, most people don't go back, so they don't really have to see the consequence of what their help, quote unquote, was meant to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fundamentally naive.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of Maruki's character in a nutshell. From what I'm led to believe, he's a very naive character.
Yeah.
I guess there's also the difference of like wanting something that's impossible, because some of what you were saying, like it sounds like he wants his partner back, or something like that, right? Or she forgot him? Was that it? Sorry, she forgot him, or
Yeah,
she
she
died,
lost
or?
she lost memory and she forgot about him.
Okay,
And I don't quite remember how it ended.
and
Just need to replay it.
yeah, I guess it does change a little bit if it's something that's impossible, right? Like bringing someone back from the dead, or turning from a cat into a person or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's a little bit of a different story, because it's like literally wish granting at that point, like a genie or something. But yeah.
Yeah, just Morgana for the entire game just believes he's a human. Just he doesn't want to accept that he's a cat. I'm not a cat. I'm a human.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Musically
That was
though,
that's hilarious.
we haven't touched on any part of the track musically. I liked the. It was very subtle, but I liked the vocal ooze that were. There's like a backup kind of vocals that are going on while she's singing, and they were changing their chord as the piano changed chord as well, and I like that effect. Very simple, but having that backup, those backup singers, or even if it's just a vocal instrument, I enjoy that. Guitar,
I was
Luco
guitar.
Luco mentioned it earlier that that like the guitar was a lot grungier than I think I'm kind of have come to expect from what I know of Persona 5 music. I really like that kind of just like that was kind of keeping the pace of the track throughout. Just chung, 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 chung.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like not something that I'd associate with a battle track. It's something that I'd associate with maybe like a negotiation theme or something. So to see it as basically the final boss is quite it leaves an impression.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alright, any other thoughts, Monster, on?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
just I just want to say that I love battle themes from entire Persona series for this lyrics. Just I oh, they are beautiful. Just if I can quickly just give some examples. Another example from Persona 5, Rivers in the Desert. It plays during some really late game boss battle. Just lyrics tells about how Phantom Thieves were at the lowest point, and this is their last chance to finally complete their mission of solving corruption and injustice in Tokyo. And, okay, so we don't need to look for boss battles. We just need to check the normal battles. Last surprise, the talk about being determined to win battles and fights, and knowing you have more power than you think you do. Just I don't want to explain the entire lyric because we don't have time for it. we don't even have to check Persona 5. We have other games like Persona 3. Burn My Breath Last Battle tells about accepting fate. I will not tell which fate because spoilers. Persona 4 Return to the Truth tells about finding the truth behind the murder scene in Abba. Just just learn this series, please.
yeah, it's a very unique idea of having these kind of lyrics in like boss battles. It's pretty
It's
specific.
another game that does that all over the place, like with literally every boss fight. It's Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, which is like that's
Yep.
my
Nah,
first frame of reference for it, and it's great. I love when games will like just bury more either more thematic, more themes, or just outright like plot information or character information into the lyrics. So like each of the boss themes in Rising does this thing where
I
it's dynamic vocals like to start with, like so they lyrics kick in like when it hits the climax of the fight, and it will tell you like this character that you're fighting gives you kind of their whole backstory in lyric form.
I just want to say, not every Persona battle theme is lyric. just just
Just the good ones.
yeah.
Are you disappointed when it's not lyrics though? Like
I'm not disappointed because
okay.
non-lyric ones also slaps. One example, the folk from Persona 4, the last final boss
Okay.
from the
Yeah.
game. This
There's a
my
reason. Oh, sorry, you go.
it's fine. Go on.
I was just, when you were talking about the other ones, I was thinking about Last Surprise, and I think that one of the reasons that track got so popular is like is that lyrics, right? Like in every RPG ever that you've ever played, you know, your heroes are faced against innumerable odds. Like, how is it that you'll ever possibly surpass the mountain of armies that are sent against you, and then Last Surprise turns that all on its head by positioning you as the mastermind that's got it all figured out, that's laid all the traps. The enemy should be afraid of you, and that's a really addictive power trip to set. That they do
Every
through
track in
lyrics.
Doom Eternal. You-
I mean, that's a kind of
You
a
know
theme in a few games about whether or not it's a power fantasy game or whether or not it's you are hopelessly feeble and vulnerable kind of thing. Like, you know, sometimes it goes too far, and I feel like the ultimate power fantasy games. Like I'm thinking, you know, Dynasty Warriors and you know, the Diablo Path of Exile kind of games where you're just steamrolling through hordes of enemies like effortlessly. I've never really enjoyed those kind of games. It's always a bit of a struggle for me because it feels so pointless. But I feel like on the opposite end, I would probably say something like Silent Hill or something like that, where you just feel so like limited and vulnerable. Can be too stressful for people on the other end as well. There's definitely a balance.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to say I think those lyrics make or break that, right? Like, that a similar deal. There's a moment in the game Control, which I don't think is in the chase.
It is not.
But Old Gods of Asgard, which is in a submission that is being submitted now, Alan Wake 2.
So good.
They have a song where they basically just over and over take control, and it takes
so
place while you're running
good.
badass through like it's an you know a horror
A
game.
particular sequence.
Yeah, and that so those power fantasies where they have lyrics that accompany and kind of make that really dramatic. I think it lands so well when it hits.
We have Control in the database. As soon as you said it, I was like, I swear I've seen that before. Yeah, it's in the database, ready to go. If anyone wants to
I've considered it, but it's the problem is outside of that one track, I don't know what else I would put around it in a sub.
Sadly, that's the case with a lot of VGM.
Yep.
Like, did anyone ever consider submitting Journey?
I'm still considering
I've
it.
considered it. Yeah.
I could have sworn someone else was also thinking about it. I think I could probably find 5. It's more just about it competing with other things.
Yeah.
Wins was thinking about it.
Yeah.
All right. Any closing thoughts on this track? Anyone?
I guess I'm done.
Yeah, awesome. That was a good track to listen to. Once again, if / when Persona 5 Royal boosts again, if this track's not already in, then we'll make sure we
just learn this
it.
game. Just learn. It's not that hard. I can help.
To be fair, the odds have been stacked against it the last 3 times it has played.
Yeah.
I can help. Just tell me. Just tell me. I want help with Persona 5.
I'll tell you what. This game is quite close. Royal, particularly, is quite close on my to play list. So I'll be looking forward to this track when I do go back and play it.
Very nice.
Nice.
All right. Well, thanks very much, FT, Luco, WhiteMonster, for joining myself today, and for the chat for sticking with us as we discuss, chat. I have to say, there was some very good, well thought out, and solid choices today as well. Very thoughtful. So I appreciate the work that you've put in and consideration of the tracks and everything like that today, everyone. No question. No, not from me today. No. Maybe every other. No, I don't want to stack the.
There'll be so many Quetz tracks.
My stuff, yeah. So we'll space them apart, and I don't want to just randomly pick something unless I feel strongly about it.
Lost Kingdom's Battle every time.
Yeah, no, I don't. No.
I really had to think for a second.
Yeah, no, I do like it, but I don't think it's like, oh my god, I've got to tell everyone about it kind of worthy.
thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, no worries. No
Yeah,
worries.
thank you. Actually, before we go, if I can take a moment, since we are at the end of the year here, if anyone is not in Game Club, we're not playing anything this month, so we're kind of in about a week's time, 1 or 2 weeks, we'll be putting up a vote for the January game, so it'll be as good a time as any to jump in. Luco is picking the games that'll go up on the poll. So if you're interested, the Game Club thread is under the general channel in the Chase server.
Can confirm those games are going to be so good. I'm not biased, though.
Yeah, at least one of them is going to be really good. Maybe even 5 of them.
I also just dropped the podcast form in the chat just then as well. If you would like to be on and discuss a track, even if we're probably already at that point where we can start repeating who's been on before.
All right, Ace Combat time.
Yeah, it's not a case of I've got to make sure that I cover everyone, because not everyone is comfortable coming on stream and talking and everything like that. So if you want to just be on, it can just end up being the same group of people over and over again. I do not care. Have decided I'm dedicated to making it happen each month, just because I didn't want it to be a thing that died after 3 episodes or 4 episodes or whatever. We'll keep it dragged along, because I enjoy it. We need time to just actually like breathe with some of the tracks a little bit.
Absolutely.
I think it's a good like outlet for, especially. I think who mentioned it? Someone mentioned it in general earlier after the introduction to the game to the podcast. Meganium said that just like some kind of Chase interviews would be kind of neat as well, just like getting to know the members of the community. So this is a good way to kind of do that as well.
Yeah, and I think everyone here wants something to put on in the background while they're working on something else sometimes, and there's not really anything this specific that they might want to listen to. So it's always a nice thing to be able to provide as well.
Yeah. The first episode that came on of podcast, I was at work that day, and I just put it up on the screen while I was working away, and it was fabulous. It was awesome.
Yeah, same. It's super good.
I was going to say something else as well. What was it? Something. What did you say, FT? Just before I said about the. It's just so close to me. Just on the
Game
edge
Club
of my...
interviews. It's a good outlet. Before then.
It will come back to me at some point. But no, enjoyed it, had fun. Thank you very much, everyone, once again. I think from now on we'll do it second week, because my issue with the first week that I kept having when we started it was colliding with all the new soundtracks coming out with the batch drop.
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's actually a lot of background work that's required to make sure they're all put in the algorithm, so to speak, in like triple quotation marks, to make sure they're all set up, and that takes a lot of time. And then it doesn't leave me much time to like arrange people for podcasts and so on. It ended up just being a bit of a cluster F. So second week seems like a nicer time to do it. All right, I'll leave it there.
Look forward to that.
Yeah, thanks everyone. We'll catch us later.
Good night. It's over.
Good night, everyone.
See ya.
It's so over.
Bye.
Oh gosh.
Bye.